And speaking of wild, we have a few things going on in the Kenyan industry today. With first of all, Willy Paul, who has his soldier boy on because he is saying he is the first Kenyan musician who ever did things for the industry. Pretty much he's saying the industry exists because of him, Willy Paul. Now, granted, we're not going to take away from the things that Willy Paul has done for the industry, okay? A few years back, he was pretty much a big name. He used to do a lot, you know. He was trailblazing. You remember his song, I Do. Hakuna harusi ungeenda, ukose kusikia, oh yes, I do. As in, he really did the work. He put in the work. That was a few years ago. He was relevant then. But over the years, he's not been able to maintain the
consistency has been lacking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's not the same Willy Paul. And it doesn't even help that his personality has played into, because the Willy Paul of then, we didn't know what he was all about, you know. We just knew him for his music, for a few funny things here and there he would do. But over time, we have seen the evolution of Willy Paul, and obviously, people are like, I don't like that person. You know, your personality, your drama, your everything. So it's been a steady decline of you. But for you to come out and say now, I am irrelevant because of this and this and this and this, that was all you, okay? Yes, you did good. You walked so that others could run. You really did, you know, create and pave ways for other people, you know, coming up. But that was then. This is now. What are you doing right now? What's a banger that you've dropped right now that would have us like, okay, I see what you're doing. That is really good. Kila siku kiki, kila siku clout. People are going to get tired of you. So for upcoming artists, if you think that Kiki is the way to go, here is a case study, Willy Paul. Go and study it and just see how people get tired so quickly of all the shenanigans. And in the same beat, Eric Omondi is now coming up and saying that he is the only person who is responsible, or he is the only solution for the musical industry in Kenya. He goes on to say that he has one solution. Basically, he has a blueprint for the success of the industry, for music in Kenya and in Africa. He goes on to say that as soon as they pass the play 75 Kenyan music in Kenya, things are going to get better. But it's been met with a lot of opposition because, as we said in a previous show, you can only give criticism if you're well versed in the topic, okay? Eric Omondi can only come for Kenyan musical artist if he himself is an accomplished Kenyan musician. But he is a comedian and an entertainer. So if he had critique for comedians and entertainers and jokers, we would listen, we would pull up our chairs. I would sign up for that seminar, okay? What is wrong with the comedic industry in Kenya? You know, I would sit for that conference. But for you to be out here trying to bring everyone down so that you stay relevant, because that is how it looks like. It just looks like you're always picking on music artists in Kenya. You're always picking up on, you know, everyone else just so that you can remain relevant. Because if you did not do that, where would you be? He went to Uganda the other day and he was actually booed off of the stage. He was doing a comedy stand-up show and he was being booed the whole time. So comedy is clearly not working for you. So now you're trying to look for a plan B, and your plan B has become revive the music industry in Kenya. How? Why would we trust you? Why would we put our trust in you? What is the proof of concept? You know, you're failing at comedy. Why would we believe that you would fail, that you would
succeed
be successful,
at a career that
you know, with
never
music?
pursued, yeah.
So Eric Omondi, please, no. You and Willy Paul have some energy that's just not sitting right with a lot of us.
Yeah, I think in general, unfortunately, the loudest people always have the least to say sometimes. And in this case, they're the two loudest people in this industry. And there's nothing wrong with being a policymaker. There's nothing wrong with wanting to apply strategies that could help or could better aid other artists in their craft. However, it is how it is said, it is in the spirit that it is said, it is in the energy and the tone that it is said. It's always a castigating others. It's always like, I will shove you down so that you can understand how to crawl back up. Honestly, Kenyan music is still good. and it shall continue to be good. But it needs to get to a level where it is competing with its neighbors. That's why we keep listening to other people's music. At the end of the day, we keep asking each other the same questions. Why don't we have our own sound? But we forget that there are historical steps that have led us to this particular juncture where we as Kenyans don't have an original Kenyan sound. It is there in history. When the colonial people were here, they beat out the music from us and they were forcing us to listen to other music from the Western world. And therefore, we ended up not having our own sound. These things happen, and no one really tried to correct that ship as it was being steered in that direction, and therefore it will take a long time before we actually find our own voice. However, are we not working hard? Yes, we are. There are many Kenyan artists who've been even nominated. Calligraph Jones was nominated the other day for a Tanzanian award. Are you trying to say that Tanzanians are idiots for for listening to Calligraph Jones? No. If your music is good, it will sell itself. Yes, there are things that need to be put in place in order to help artists, but making noise in this way doesn't help. It just makes it worse for everyone else. So policies are important, but let's comply to the way it should be done. It doesn't have to always be a riot or, I don't know, a pitchfork being held up in order for people to make changes, right? Hey, I've spoken a lot. Willy Paul, we are sorry. Life happens. Just find your footing again. That's it. Just find your footing again. You will be fine.